You are live. Hello, everybody. Take a minute just to get up. Put on some background music. Hopefully, it's not too loud. Ads. Too loud. Nobody on right now, but for anyone that does listen to these in the future or whatever, my idea with the lives is it's cool if in the future I get more people that are actually hopping on, want to see what's going on in real time. It's awesome, and I want to provide that as part of like my plan for YouTube. But the lives are more so for more inner monologue. I think I've said this in past lives, but I think a lot better when I can talk about it and I can kind of put it out into the universe with my words and kind of in a weird way see it when I speak it. So this is a way where I'm doing that, but not just sitting here talking to myself. I'm at least creating something while I'm doing this. So that's kind of for anyone wondering why I'm going in depth on this stuff when there's literally nobody even listening. That's why. So, yeah. So I've had a thought for the past 2 days on a type of content that I think I'd like to try out because I know that it really resonates with me as far as like my passions, what I enjoy, as far as the writing aspect of it, as well as it very much complements the way that I specifically learn. And so, in a way, I hope that it will help people that are similar to me, which is what I kind of created my YouTube channel in the first place for. And that is teaching through stories. So instead of just giving historical lessons or giving you just lessons on a certain topic, which are great, and I'm still going to do those because some people learn that way, and sometimes you just need information. You don't need some story trying to teach you some philosophical idea. You just need the facts, which I totally get. So I'm going to continue doing that. But I'd like to mix in every once in a while some short stories, almost like what could I relate this to? Trying to think of something similar, but kind of like those, those old Chinese like wise tales. And I know there's another word for it, but I can't think of it right now. But that are just very interesting stories with like because they kind of mix in the religion and the culture aspects and all that, but it's also just a very intriguing story. But underlying the story, there is actually like very deep lessons that are very impactful to your life if you're willing to pay attention and to pull those out. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to take, okay, this is what I want to teach people. This is what I want people to get out of this. But then take that center point, the main focus, and form a very intriguing story around it, because that's what I think I enjoy writing the most. And we'll see. Maybe I hate it, maybe I never do it again. But I do know that I learn the best from those types of lessons. And so, if nothing else, I'm going to do it because I'm doing it for me and I'm doing it for people like me. So, that's one thing that I'm going to be trying out shortly, and we'll see how that works. And I hope that my microphone and everything is working decently. Um, I'm just using the MacBook microphone right now because I'm not sure my mic's up there, but it's a little late now. But yeah, that's kind of one of my ideas coming into this year is I like to start writing more short stories, and I'll probably do it for a few months and then we'll kind of go from there, either increasing production or stopping production depending on how I like it and what the results are as far as well, what you guys think about it. So it's something I've been thinking about for the past few days. I'm gonna turn this. That's bugging me. I could see it on the camera. It's driving me nuts. Something also that I thought would be so recently I've gotten back into, it's kind of a weird, it's not weird, but it's childish a little bit. But I've recently gotten back into building Lego sets. Because I was going through looking for some Christmas presents for some family and stuff a few weeks ago, Christmas, and accidentally stumbled across the Lego aisle and had this revelation that I was like, "Oh, I'm an adult now. Like I can go buy Legos whenever I want. I don't have to ask my mom like, "Hey, can I get this one?" It's like, "No, it's too expensive, or you should wait till your birthday." Like I can just buy Lego sets when I want to. And they're really not as expensive as I remember when I was a kid. And I think that's just because when you're a kid, you don't really have money that you didn't get from birthday or your parents gave to you out of allowance or something. So now it's kind of like, oh, these are like very easily obtainable. I can get them whenever I want. So what I've decided to do is I have like a little like savings thing where I'm just saving up every month and I'll buy like a nice Lego set that I think is cool. I'll just get one every month. But what I thought would be cool to, because I'm trying to make it to where I can do more things that I enjoy and turn those into content, to make it less of a burden and more of just something that I do on the side while I'm doing the thing I'm enjoying, like recording while I'm smoking cigars, making content that way, recording while I build the Lego sets, like where I was going with that. And doing more of that style of content, just more organic, I guess is the best way to put it. And just kind of giving lessons and giving advice while I'm also doing things. And that might be where these live streams come more into play. And I do more formatted and more edited videos for like official YouTube videos, and then do more of the organic, like giving lessons while I'm doing something over the lives. That might actually make more sense, which I'm coming to that realization, which is why I do these, because when I talk about it, it's easier for me to process like how I want to approach these different ideas that I have. But yeah, it's interesting that one thing that I really want to record a video about is mental sharpness. That's something that's always really intrigued me as far as like not necessarily becoming smarter or increasing your intelligence or anything like that, but just being sharp, being quick. And one thing that I always found interesting is that that's something that can fluctuate like on a day-to-day basis almost. And so I'd love to record a video on that because I'm a perfect example of just taking my own life to look at the examples of that is when I was in debate the last 2 years of high school, I was very mentally sharp by the end of those 2 years because I was just constantly reading and writing and speaking in front of people, and it was just go, 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 and constantly strengthening and working out my mind versus there's an ad. Oh, it's not ad, it's opera. I put on, like, classical music, and every once in a while, opera will come on, and it's just not I don't feel like they should be in the same, like, genre or whatever, but whatever. Where was I? Yeah, mental sharpness. So I was very mentally sharp because I was constantly working out my brain. But then the year after that, I noticed that by the end of the year after my debate and everything, after I had graduated high school, I was starting to lose it. And not necessarily getting dumber, but just not as able to act so quickly and to make decisions fast and to be able to do things and be able to respond as fast as possible. Like I couldn't do those things as well as I could when I was in debate. And so what I started doing for the past, let's see, it's been like a year and a half now, is writing every day, reading every day, constantly making sure I'm doing something every day to where I'm stretching and working out my mind and almost immediately started feeling almost like riding a bike, like feeling that knowledge and that ability coming back to me. And so I feel like that would be something really interesting to do more research on of like why that is, what strengthens our brain, how it strengthens our brain, how can we like optimize that, how can we like make that to be as time efficient as possible to where you can strengthen your brain as much as possible in a short amount of time so you still have time to do other things, right? Because not everybody gets money or their business isn't focused around writing and reading. And so that has to be a side thing that they need to be time efficient. So that's something I feel like would be really interesting to look into and to do some research on different scientific studies, um, and then present that, right? And I don't think that's something I'd be able to present, like, in a story aspect. That would be more, like, facts-based and more, not facts-based, but more so just, like, presenting information, in easily, an easy way to listen to, obviously. But, yeah, that's something that I think would be really interesting as a future video. I still have a lot of videos that are written. I have a lot of essays that I have finished that I just have not yet recorded because that's honestly my least favorite part. I enjoy writing. I've always enjoyed writing essays, and so I have a lot of essays that have been written on a lot of different things as far as like theology, business, philosophy, just life. Like there's a lot of different topics, which is why I didn't really ground myself in one topic on this YouTube channel. Though I have been highly encouraged by by my peers and friends and everything that I probably should veer towards one specific topic just so it's easier to gain a following, which I agree it would become way easier to gain a following that way. But at the same time, I don't know. There's a certain I guess I could say fear of being boxed in by a niche or being boxed in by a specific topic that I talk about. And my fear is that if I do that, I will want to change it. Inevitably, I will want to change it and talk about a different topic for a little while. And the problem with that is once I'm set and established as like I'm a leader in this topic, once I change that, I'm going to lose a majority of my following that followed me because of that topic I was talking about. Not that I'm super worried about the following. It's a weird relationship. I mean, I want the following, don't get me wrong. I use it for marketing purposes for TLE to get people into my Discord group. But at the same time, I don't lose any sleep over losing followers. It's not something that worries me. So, it's more so just the hassle of gaining a following and then having to start over basically with a new topic if I change topics versus I can just gain a following. Yeah, slowly or certainly slower than it would be with one topic, but I will maintain that following as long as I don't go so off the hinges with something that anybody that was following me for the random topics wasn't even prepared for. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. I might change my mind. I might decide to go on a more specific topic. I definitely think I should niche down maybe a little, but it's hard to niche down a little and not completely go to one topic. It's hard to go from I can talk about whatever I want, I can post about whatever I want, whatever is interesting me at the time, and then move to okay, let's just take a little bit of it out because you go to take a little bit of it out and inevitably it leads to we're only going to talk about this topic. It's a weird it's strange how that works. But I think for now, as long as what I am doing and the content I'm creating will make your life better in some way, that will be my focus. That'll be my niche. I'm not going to do anything that's just for like pure entertainment purposes, though I do want you to be entertained. Not even for the views as much as it's easier to learn when you're entertained. It's easier to grasp something when it's entertaining. And so, as someone who's trying to teach, I want it to be entertaining because I want it to be easy to digest. But it will never be purely for entertainment purposes. It will always be to teach you something, to help you in some way with just life in general. And yeah, there will be some more niche down aspects. I get into like the business stuff or I get into like the theology where maybe some people aren't really interested in theology or it doesn't really change anything in their life. But it is difficult to say the least. I've been writing recently. So I journal every night. More so because I have what feels like a million things on my mind all at once, every day, all day. And so one thing that has always helped me was journaling. And so I end my day by taking whatever is on my mind and putting it on paper because in a weird way it gives me reassurance that I will not forget what was on my mind because oftentimes there's so many things that if I don't write it down, I lose most of it. Not like I'll lose a few things or I'll lose something that was important. Like most of it I lose because there's so much. And when you try to focus on so many things, you end up focusing on nothing. And so that's something that has really helped me. So I got these little journals that they're not that big, but I can put about half a year in this journal. I just do I'm not trying to write these long, like perfect, like grammatical journals or anything like that. They're more so focused on just writing down what I'm thinking. And so sometimes my entry for the night will be like 4 lines of just like exactly what I'm thinking. Like, I need to do this. I want to write this kind of video. I think I want to take the business this way, whatever it is. And that's it. And it helps me to fall asleep way faster than trying to just ignore all those things because there's no ignoring the vast waves of thoughts. But by writing them down, the worry of missing something is gone. And that helps me to fall asleep a lot faster. So, anybody else, the reason I bring that up, anybody else that also struggles with something like that, um, get a journal, write every day. As well as just even if you don't struggle with that, journaling's just good for you. It helps to sharpen your mind, like I was talking about earlier. It's good to have good handwriting, good to write every day, become smarter, helps to elaborate on ideas and to expand on them and to see where they go, kind of like a rabbit hole. So I encourage everybody to journal, but especially if you struggle with having just waves of ideas that you're not even sure which direction to go in, writing them down can be a good way to be like, okay, I don't actually like this one, or I like this one, or I'm going to go with this one. This is the direction I'm going to go. And it helps you to almost instantly when it hits the paper, you can see this is the one I like. This is the one I'm going to put my focus into. It just makes everything simpler when it comes to life. Because honestly, that's one thing that has always been a struggle for me in the business side of my life is that I'm focused on so many different things with the business that I, like, forget about the product, or I forget about the customer, or I forget about the marketing or the sales, like, because 'cause I'm so focused on this one thing or 5 or 10 things other than the thing that truly is important, and so I have to write it all down. Like, "Look, these are the things that make a business succeed. These are the things that are necessary for me to keep my business alive, and so these are the things I need to focus on. If I have time after all of this, I can go chase my rabbits, but until they're done, no rabbit holes." Which is extremely helpful. That's why I have 2 huge whiteboards, over here. The other one's behind it, but and I got the foxtail, but, yeah, those really help me because I can jot stuff down, I can erase stuff, like, I don't have to buy a ton of paper, and it helps me to be able to jot through what I need to be doing for the day, what is important, what do I need to focus on, so that's been super helpful for me. I want to try to do these lives. I'd like to do them every day, if I'm being honest. I know that that's not, reasonable, and I know that I won't be able to do that, but I would like to try. So, my goal for right now is to do 3 lives a week. I think that's a little bit more reasonable and actually possible for me to do. And then if I can, when I find the time, maybe do more. Sometimes I might have to do less, but the goal being 3. And then once I reach the 3, if I have time for more, awesome, I can do more throughout the week. But that's kind of my idea currently for it. But yeah, trying to think of what else I have to talk about. It's hard when something that I always found interesting because I do a lot of like monologues just for myself. And that's kind of what these lives are at this point when there's no listeners, is just a monologue. And something I always find interesting is the weird feeling of when you run out of things to say. And there's no person to maybe take lead on the conversation, no person to kind of spark a new conversation that you can kind of rabbit down. It's completely up to you on starting all of the conversations that you're the only one speaking in. And it's just interesting to me. I don't know. I think it is good for people that are trying to get better at public speaking, especially because it forces you to, as long as you keep yourself from having too much dead space, it kind of forces you to think of things to say and to be quick and to constantly have something that you could say about something, right? That's one of the best things as a public speaker, or just as somebody who wants to be good at like conversations, is always having something to say. Even if it's not the most impactful, it's not the most meaningful, you have something to say. And that's not to say to be someone that's just constantly jawing all the time and constantly talking. You and honestly, in my opinion, it's better to stay silent most of the time. But to be silent but have something to say, I guess is the best form, the best thing to aim at, which can be extremely difficult. But again, easier if you can even hear somebody talking about something versus listening to silence and having to think of something to say and have something ready to say. But I'm rambling. Well, I think for the time being, I'm going to go write some more scripts. I might. Um, I'm not going to share my screen, but I think I can do this. And you guys should be able to see me. Yeah, cool. I might change my lights a little bit. I'll be right back. I'm gonna change my lights so they're a little easier. Guys. Oh, that's better. Just change this from red to something a little bit better. Actually, I think I'm gonna end the live stream a little bit earlier than I wanted to. I'd like to go for like 45 minutes to an hour normally, but I'm gonna end the stream and I'm going to go shower and try to get as many scripts done as physically possible before I go to bed. Going duck hunting tomorrow, which I'd like to hopefully take some pictures and stuff for Instagram content, but we'll see. But that's kind of my plan. I think because I have to get up so early for duck hunting because you want to start fairly early in the morning. I'm just going to try to get as much done as possible. It's currently 6:30 p.m. See how many scripts I can get done, and maybe I'll make a post on YouTube or something kind of updating you guys on what I accomplished. So I hope that you all have a wonderful day. I hope that you all are striving your very best to become the best versions of yourself. It's truly one of, if not the only pursuit that's really worth your while and worth your time. So I hope that you all are having a wonderful day. God bless.